Hello, everybody, and welcome to the view from my watchtower. What we're going to look at in this video is a biblical look at rapture dating. Right now, there's a lot of people out there that want to do different setting of dates, and they usually like to focus on particular appointed times, such as Feast of Trumpets, Ninth of Av, etc. So I'm going to take a biblical approach to it for rapture question mark 2023. Let's see. I'm going to offer a checklist here of 7 different items to look at, and if a check mark can be placed in every one of these, then we can determine a few dates or a date range. So we're going to look at it, and it's going to be a biblical approach. We're not going to talk about whether there's really a rapture or not. We're not going to argue pre-trib, post-trib, mid-trib. Not even going to argue no one knows the day or the hour. This is just a checklist. You either agree with the things on here or you don't. And it doesn't even matter if we are the ones that say yes to each of these. What matters is, does God say yes to each of these? If so, we got some dates to look at. So the first item on our checklist here is the Feast of Tabernacles fulfilled by Jesus by his establishment of his millennial reign. The 1,000-year millennial reign talked about in Revelation. So we know that Christ has fulfilled 4 of the 7 feasts already. Passover on his death, unleavened bread on his burial, first fruits on his resurrection, and then the start of the church age on the Pentecost, when he fell onto the disciples in the form of the Holy Spirit. So, Feast of Tabernacles is the last of the 7 feasts in a year, and most, if not all, end times watchers are looking at Feast of Tabernacles to be the date that he Jesus, fulfills the Feast of Tabernacles by doing his millennial reign. If that is true, we can check mark this, and we're on our way. As far as me, I'm not going to put 100% on any of these, even though I really feel like some of them are 100% like this one. So 99% is what I put on this check mark here. The second one that we're going to look at, the Day of Atonement, which is the feast 5 days in front of this one. Is the Day of Atonement fulfilled by Jesus by his second coming? Again, most, if not all, of end times prophecy watchers agree that the Day of Atonement is the day he comes back at the end of the tribulation, atones for the sins of Israel, and they get to come into his kingdom as well. Finally be saved. So, again, I'm going to put a 99% on this. I believe that we could check mark this one for sure. Okay. Now, the third one I've kind of messed up on. So I'll talk about it here. First of all, is the last day of the tribulation on the day before the Feast of Tabernacles? I meant to put the day before right there. It cost me a lot of money to make this poster, so I didn't do the correction and make a new one. But that should say the day before Feast of Tabernacles. Because I feel like the end of the millennium would be the day before the start of the new one. Therefore, I think the last day of the tribulation is going to be that previous day, the day before Feast of Tabernacles. Is the last day of the tribulation on the Day of Atonement itself, leaving 4 days in between that won't count for either tribulation or new millennium. Possibly all the Armageddon-y stuff happening in that time. Do those not count for either one? I don't know. But we could put a check mark either here or here, but we can't put it in both. But as long as we can put it in one of these, then we have a potential day to look at right here coming up. Let me go ahead and secure this for now so it's not flapping around. Well, that didn't work. Try again. Don't want that flapping around. Now I've lost one of my pins. So for me, I go 75% for this one here. I'm going to go just to 24 for this one here. Actually, let's just do 74 here, 24 here. I think it's this top one, but it could be that bottom one there. And since I won't give a full 100% on any of these, we'll just go for 98 here. But I'm sure it's one of those two. So the fourth item on the checklist is the tribulation 2,520 days in length. So we get that from Daniel. We also get it from Revelation. Many places it talks about 3.5 years, talks about times and half a time. These all are talking about 3.5 months. Years. Sorry, 3.5 years. And that's two different time frames. There's the first part of the tribulation, 1,260 days, and the second part, another 1,260 days. A total 2,520 days. And notice when you have 1260 and 1260, you don't have a middle day. On another video, I'll probably talk about calendar math. Every end times person that I have been seeing does the calendar math wrong. They always add one day to the tribulation that shouldn't be there. And they end up even having a middle day. And you can't have that. So I'll go over the correct calendar math possibly on another video. But is the tribulation 2,520 days in length? I do believe so. I'm going to put 95% here. There are some other time periods that are mentioned, like a 1,335 and a 1,290 for days. And I think those run concurrent with the 7-year period. But I'm not 100% sure on that. So I can leave that open to some interpretation. But for me, I'm going with 2,520 days, plumb 7 years exactly of tribulation. So that's that check mark. Now number 5 here would be, is the rapture on the same day as the first day of the tribulation? This is where a lot of people are going to have some differences. I believe it is. I believe that we have a picture of it, Noah and the ark, and also with Lot and the brimstone. If those are pictures of the rapture, then I think we're looking at they happen on the same day. I used to think there was a space in between where the world had to get adjusted to this new person on the scene, and then he would make that covenant or make good on the covenant and everybody be okay with them. But now that we have this alien theory out there, and it's something that I've believed for a long time, that people are going to believe that we were abducted by aliens. I think it's a very good scenario that an alien is going to talk to the world, talk about coming in peace, talk about what happened to us, that we got abducted, maybe for retraining or something, I don't know, but we were getting in the way of what they need to do. And they've been communicating with this one person on Earth for some amount of time, and everybody needs to listen to him, and he's going to make good on this covenant, and he's going to sign it, and everybody needs to be in the good with that. I think that all could happen on the same day, the rapture day. So I can see that scenario happening. I'm going to go right here with a 75% because I am open to the rapture happening before the tribulation, however, with a gap. I'm still open to it. Matter of fact, if Feast of Trumpets is the day, great. I'd be happy. It's a little bit sooner than what we're going to look at here in a minute. So item number 6 right here. Is the second coming of Christ going to be in the year 2023? No, 2030, sorry. Yeah, is the second coming going to happen in 2030? It's been taught for a long time that Jesus' death on the cross was in AD 33, but now there's a lot of thought that it could be AD 30. And there are some very good reasons for believing so. Good videos out there to watch on that subject. And I do believe that it's going to be 2030. But again, I'm only going to put a 75% here on this check mark because I believe that it will be a 6,000 year period. I believe in the 6 and 1 pattern in the Bible and how it also applies to 6,000 years of earth as it is right now, followed by a 1,000 year period of rest in Christ, peace on earth, the millennial reign. So I am looking at 2030 being the last day of that 6,000 years, and I also believe it's going to be 2,000 years after the death of Christ. So if it was AD 30, then 2030 is going to be that 2,000 year period. So my check mark here is just simply going to be 75%. I'm hoping it's 2030 anyway. Last one, are the above feast dates correct for 2030? So the dates that they already have for Feast of Tabernacles, Day of Atonement, are those correct that they have if you search them online? Are those correct for the year 2030? Now, to the best of my knowledge and belief, I've looked at them and I do believe that they are the correct dates. You can do a study of that, look at the sun or the moon and the stars and such, and they have to, the Feast of Trumpets happens on a new moon, so you look at the new moon for that month. I don't remember the name of the month, unfortunately, off the top of my head, because I forget a lot of things very easily, but got that date, and then you can figure out Tabernacle and Atonement from that date. So I believe that they are correct. I'm going to put a 99% here. So if these dates are correct, then all you need to do is subtract the time for how long the tribulation is. You have the last day of the tribulation. Subtract 2519, not 2520. If you subtract 2520, this is where everybody goes wrong with the math. You're adding an extra day because you're counting that last day twice. You got to subtract 2519 from this date. And what do we come up with? If you believe that the last day of the tribulation is the day before the Feast of Tabernacles, then we'd be looking at November 17th of this year. If you believe that the end of the tribulation is going to be in 2030, November 17th of this year. If you believe the last day of the tribulation is on the Day of Atonement, then we'd be looking at November 14th. Because no one knows the day or the hour, which is what they call Feast of Trumpets, and its Feast of Trumpets date is based on when you see that first sliver of light on the new moon, it's possible these dates could be adjusted a little bit to give room for having the actual date of the trumpets God's way. And then these dates could be a little different, a little later than these. However, I'm looking forward to November 17th myself. November 14th could be it. Of course, we could look at Feast of Trumpets if people who believe in that day is correct. I believe the Feast of Trumpets, because this is the 6,000th year and it's a Jubilee, and on the Jubilee, Feast of Trumpets is moved up to Day of Atonement, so he's fulfilling both on the same day right here. I believe that since he's fulfilling trumpets here, he doesn't have to fulfill it by a rapture. So anyway, I guess we can make that part of nobody knows the day or the hour. Is it going to be trumpets or not? It's going to be one of these. So I hope you enjoyed this video. And I hope we can have a civil comment section down below, because this is not meant to be divisive, just meant to be a biblical look at the timing of our harpazo or rapture. Now, if I'm missing anything here, possibly put that in the comments here. I can look at it and we could maybe reevaluate things if we have to, but this is the way things look right now for me. I do know we have that summit coming up on the Feast of Trumpets Day that kind of looks like it could be the conferment of a covenant, and a covenant that they're trying to do in September looks very end times-ish. So it's possible. I am aware of that, and I would like to see it come on that day. Otherwise, this is what I am looking at. So thank you for watching this video, and until next time, this is Jim saying, may God re-bless America. Bye.